Well, we returned from our trip yesterday, and while this is fresh in my mind, I'm going to record some podcasts along with some photos so that you can know my journey and some thoughts I had as we went along. Really, this recording is just for me. I had an amazing experience last week. I can't even describe half of the things that went through my mind, what I thought, what I felt, and how I've changed since then. But I'll do my best to share what I can. I started off by thinking about some main places I wanted to visit. I thought about people I wanted to attract into our movie, and immediate characters came to mind. Immediate places came to mind, some really special things that I was really hoping I could revisit or communicate, places I could talk about, people I could connect with. The first place is this place. It's Minette's Point. Minette's Point is where I used to live. It's a waterfront location. It's exactly where Arnie and I used to sit between presentations. I was really interested in finding this place again and sitting on that picnic table if it would be there still. I wasn't sure. It had been 12 years. Next, there were family members I was hoping to connect with. First of all, Dale. Dale is Arnie's brother, and Dale was really so open to being interviewed. He was a little shy when I met him in 2007, but I hoped maybe I could get a couple sentences from him, shake his hand, say hello. Dale was really tender-hearted, a very kind man. I also remembered that he liked to write poetry. So I just was trying to remember some key things that I could talk to the family about if I got lucky enough to see them again in Cobalt. I had a memorial plaque made for Arnie, and it was quite heavy, but I wanted to be really careful with it. So I wrapped it and put it inside my briefcase. I didn't care that it made the briefcase feel really heavy. I just thought if I hand carry this all the way up there, maybe it'll survive and nothing bad will happen to it. Like, the worst nightmare I had was if this thing got chipped or if there was a problem with it, it would have broken my heart. So I just made sure that I kept it in my teacher's briefcase in my possession the whole time. As far as people and places and things, this Queen's Jubilee medal, I figured I'd never see it again, but that was something that I really I thought was important. I knew that in the very last moments as I was packing my bag, I got the call from Arnie's son, Alan, saying that he and his mom, Arnie's wife, Barb, were going to come. So that was thrilling for me. I was so excited, and I was really hoping she would bring the Queen's Jubilee medal, but I wasn't sure. Also, John and Sherry Alexander are really important to me. There was a teacher. John was on one of my really fun teams with teachers, and I was really hoping that I could, spend some quality time with John and Sherry. I had a really great idea about 2 days before we left. I thought, who would be a perfect person to travel along with me on this journey? And the person that came to mind was Stephanie Austin. This is Stephanie. We used to be in this classroom in Innisfil. Room 302, the room with the view, we used to call it. Anyway, Stephanie was the leader of my write group, and I just thought, wow, wouldn't she be perfect to go along with me? Kind of that ripple effect of teacher and student taking an adventure, a journey together. And this is her. It's been a really long time since I've seen her. She's in her 30s now, and I'm, of course, still 29. So we'll see how that pans out. She decided that, yes, she would come along with me. We had a Zoom call where I got to meet the whole team, and this is it. I was taking a photo. Nobody knew I was doing that because, when you meet your film crew, you want to act like you're cool. So this is the Zoom call where we talked about what we were about to do, where we would go, what was needed, and how we all felt. When I got off of this call, I really had a moment of anxiety. I just thought, I hope this is going to work out. I had everything planned and I just wasn't really sure if it would really come true. So I got in my car and went over to the pub and sat in the back with my journal and a glass of wine and just tried to decompress. Sylvia called me to say, are you all right? Because I think she could sense that I was very nervous about it. I just didn't know what was about to happen. Did you know that when you film a movie, your camera crew puts all the footage on external hard drives? Every single night they were going to film and then dump all their footage onto external hard drives. So it was kind of an interesting and cool thing I learned about the production. The technology these days is so amazing that it doesn't take very long to download all of this footage. We had 4K drives that were going to be enough to hold everything. So you buy them once and then you buy the drives twice because you have an original and a backup copy. When everything's done, everybody involved takes sets. I packed some letters, and of course I packed this book that Mitchell signed for us. It was my hope that Mitchell and his girlfriend would come to our presentations or the celebration of life. I just hoped that maybe I could meet Mitchell and kind of shake his hand and tell him, how proud I was of him. I didn't know. As I was getting ready, I received a text from Cobalt, and this is what they sent me. Apparently it was snowing. And if you know me, you know how terrified I feel about snow. I don't like to drive in it. I knew that the car we were renting from Buffalo did not have snow tires on it. So I was super nervous about this. When I found out about it, I started really getting concerned about the trip, but I figured Arnie's going to look after this for me. That's just the way it's going to be. I packed everything, purchased some extra bags and some extra poundage so that I could get everything on the flight. I felt like if there was any occasion to bring Arnie's letters, this is the occasion. So I packed the binders in a huge suitcase. This is Mom saying goodbye to me at the door. And here I am with my ginormous suitcases ready to go in my Uber. I was pretty excited. I felt like I was prepared. I even bought myself a jacket and a scarf online and hoped that I would stay warm. I was worried. When I got to Tampa, of course, there's this awesome flamingo art right inside the door. And I thought, all right, doing this. I know it's a little cheesy, but I have to. This was quite an event for me. And I thought being eye to eye with a flamingo might be the right way to start. When I was about to turn on my airplane mode, I received this text. And it was really, really cool to kind of be in the middle of a text between award-winning directors, their award-winning crew, and myself. I just felt like, oh my goodness, this is happening. Very, very exciting to receive this. The crew landed before I did, before Sylvia did, and they went and had a brew that night. We were feeling a little bit left out. We really wanted to be a part of it. But anyway, they sent us this photo just to say, hey, we're here. Everything's great. They got across the border. We had to purchase a special passport for their equipment, and they got through customs with it. It was great, great, great. Next, Sylvia and I landed, hugs all around. We felt really, really great, and the letters arrived as well. We drove to Buffalo. It was dark. I was worried about it. We drove through Buffalo, and we went to the Rainbow Bridge. We pulled up, and I showed them my Canadian passport, which was so fun. And I got to say that we're visiting family in Cobalt, and I feel like that was true. When we arrived in Niagara Falls, I heard this explosion, and I realized that it was Arnie welcoming me back to Canada.